react to his story.
Bueno, les digo, pónganse a ver el juego y dejen los pinches teléfonos en paz.
Take us to see Obsession, Mr. Bell. He shook his head. It's rated R. You're 14. And my boys all glanced at me, but I mouthed, check me out. I stared at Mr. Bell. The room was
regó
the history teacher, Mr. Flaherty, is cooler than you. Mr. Bell stood up so fast, he almost fell. Now hold on a second. He took out his phone. Instantly started scrolling.
My fault, guys.
I grinned at my boys because he didn't want it as long as we called him uncool. Right after, Keon tested it next. Yo, Mr. Bell, can you get us a hotel room before the movie? I want to chill. Mr. Bell laughed. Nice try, kid. He was already turning back to his desk when I crossed my arms and rolled my eyes. I knew you weren't as cool as Mr. Flaherty. His eyes immediately widened. Now hold on a second. An hour later, we were at a 5-star hotel, and he was swiping his credit card to pay for us all to have a deluxe suite. We knew this could only end badly, but we were too excited to care. And at 8 p.m., we rolled into the theater smelling like garlic butter, and Mr. Bell strutted to the counter. 5 for Obsession. I'm their guardian. We all silently dapped each other up, but then Kean grabbed my arm and pointed at the concession stand. It was Mr. Flaherty, the history teacher, a.k.a. our art teacher's arch nemesis. He stood in a huddle of his third period kids, swiping his card after a tower of popcorn buckets. I gasped because I realized he was being manipulated the same way we were manipulating Mr. Bell. When Flaherty saw Mr. Bell, he turned to the kids. Get whatever you want, and let's upgrade our chairs to recliners, just because I'm cool. We all leaned in, biting our nails, waiting to see what would happen next. Bell clenched his fists and walked the road behind us so nobody could kick our chairs. Nobody had called anyone uncle, and nobody needed to anymore. They were out-cooling each other on their own, and we were the scoreboard. Eventually, they both bought out the entire cinema, and when we walked in, I sank into my recliner behind a mountain of snacks and leaned over to Keith. I told you the history teacher was cool. 3 seats down, Mr. Bell's head whipped around. Now hold on a second. Me and my boys, I was trying to bicycle kick a soccer ball in my living room when it flew straight into my mom's face. I dove for it, but caught air, and it shattered on the floor. My hands flew to my mouth. That was Grandma's vase, given to Mom before she died, and Mom had told me 100 times not to touch it. Mom was upstairs washing her hair, so I grabbed the super glue and tried to piece it together, but the cracks spread like a spider web, and it fell apart. I knew I was cooked. I wrapped the pieces in paper towels, shoved them in the trash, and put a candle on the empty shelf. I dropped onto the couch with my Switch as Mom came down. You hungry? I'm starting dinner. Yeah, I'm starving. She walked toward the kitchen but stopped at the shelf, tilting her head. Where's Grandma's vase? Sweat shot down my face. Wasn't it always like that? She picked up the candle. It was right here this morning. Maria came today, didn't she? Maria was our cleaning lady, and Mom was already calling her back. I almost told the truth twice before Maria got there. Maria walked back in, still in her cleaning clothes, and Mom led her to the empty shelf. My grandma's vase is gone. You're the only other person who was in here. Maria's hands shook. Ma'am, I swear to God, I didn't even go near that shelf. I'm sorry, Maria. Pack your bags. I can't have someone in my house I can't trust. Maria stood there waiting for someone to say something. She picked up her bag and walked past me to the door. She didn't look at me, and I didn't look at her either. The door closed behind her, and the house went quiet. Maria had 3 kids. She'd shown me their school pictures every time she came over. I'm 27 now, and I still haven't told my mom what really happened that night. But I've carried the guilt with me the entire time. I tell myself I was just a kid back then, didn't know better. I was trying to bicycle. I hit a huge home run and was about to celebrate, but the catcher suddenly...
He ran his...
pushed me to the ground. Damn. Cheater, you cheated. He ripped his mask off and pointed at my bat in the dirt. Check his bat. He's cheating. My eyes widened as I looked up at him. Dude, that's not funny. Is this because the scouts chose me over you? Shut up. Check his bat. The umpire pushed his glasses up his nose and slowly picked it up. My jaw clenched. My own bat had felt heavy during warm-ups, so I grabbed a spare off the rack. But if this random bat had weights in it, I would lose the scout's offer, and my entire life would be ruined. The ump turned the bat over in his hands, then stopped on a scuff near the barrel, and his whole face went red. I see something. My hands started sweating. He called time and waved my run off the board. 12,000 people came down on me at once. The catcher cackled as loud as he could. See, I knew he was cheating, but the ump adjusted his glasses and shook his head. Wait, false alarm. My glasses were cloudy. The catcher's body locked up as the ump turned to him. This bat is clean. I smirked and nodded my head, but then the catcher's hands started trembling. No way that's clean. The ump told him to get back behind the plate, and he lost it. Unscrew the knob. I put it in there myself. The field went silent. His own dugout stood up, and his own coach asked, did he just say he put something in there? The ump unscrewed the knob and turned it
Okay, I'm sorry guys, but that's crazy.
over. but nothing came out. Every head on the field turned to me, so I announced, "That's not my bat. Mine's still in the dugout." So he walked to our dugout, pulled my bat, and tipped it over the plate. 3 lead weights rolled out into the dirt. The catcher's eyes lit up. "See, I told you there's no way the bat's clean. I put those in myself so the scouts would regret choosing over." He was nodding and smiling, but the ump put one hand on his shoulder and waved over security. "Get this idiot off the field." Security walked him off, and my run went back up. I hit it
Crazy.
when they tried to put my brother with Down syndrome
Down for a 5. Whatever.
prison. I
Dot,
burst
dot,
out
dot.
laughing. We couldn't afford to put my brother in a special program, so he was bullied constantly. He'd always just smile until he learned to middle finger people when they were mean, and when he made everyone laugh at him, they decided they needed to get revenge. He was walking with my mom, and a group of them decided to terrorize him. "What's up, Extra Down?" They threw basically every chromosome kill hit in the neighborhood. They moved on to my mom. She was pregnant, and they all threw things at her. "Trying again, huh? One monkey baby wasn't enough?" She was begging them, "Please stop. I'm pregnant," but they did not care. She felt him clench her hand hard, and she was so scared, she started tearing up. My brother stayed calm, but the second he saw her,
Yo desgraciado, no lo miró, que está jugando con un pozo liso.
they were shocked, and he grabbed
Mira,
her
pues,
arm,
ahorita me pasó el golpe. Ahorita está
the rest of them ran away, trying to get the attention of nearby.
Órale.
He yelled, "You hurt Mama," and he literally wouldn't stop swinging. The police had to grab
Pues
him and cuff
solito.
him. When the other kid's face was unrecognizable, they screamed to put him in jail. The judge took one look at him sitting there
I am.
smiling and let him off. And as they screamed, he gave them insane treatment. When they tried to put my brother with Down syndrome in prison, I burst out laughing. We couldn't afford to put my brother in a special program, so he was bullied constantly. He'd always just smile until he learned to middle finger people because they were mean. And when he made
My fault, guys. My chair is somewhere. Oh my god.
Brennan slammed his Beyblade down onto the girl with Down syndrome's tread and shredded her sandwich to pieces. She sat there stunned, tears welling up in her eyes. I turned to him furious. "You think it's okay to do that to her?" Brennan smirked. "Yeah, she's a window licker." He turned and walked off without looking back.
That's
Something inside me
disrespectful.
snapped. I stood up on the bench, pointed across the cafeteria, and screamed, "I challenge you to a Beyblade duel." The whole cafeteria gasped and turned to look. Brennan stopped mid-step. He slowly turned around with this evil grin spreading across his face. "You're on. Me and my boys versus you." Loser licks the bird poop off the table by the playground. By the time we got to the picnic table, the entire playground had circled around it 3 kids deep. Cohen pulled out a Beyblade with flames on it. Tate had a dragon. Brennan was twirling a black one with red spikes between his feet. I unzipped my backpack and pulled out the one my older brother gave me for my birthday. Solid metal, no seals, no stickers. He told me, "This is Ragnarok. Don't use it unless you really need to." Brennan took one look and cackled. "What is
No,
it?"
that's
A paperweight. We loaded our launchers. Brennan counted us down. 3, 2, 1. Beyblade, let it ride. 4 Beyblades hit the dirt, and sparks shot up wherever Ragnarok made contact. Crack. Ragnarok drilled into Cohen's, and it shattered into 4 pieces. Cohen dropped to his knees, sobbing. It was my birthday present. Ragnarok ricochetted
That's
his
karma.
and slammed into Tate's dragon. The whole thing launched out of the ring straight at Tate's face and knocked 3 of his teeth clean out. He punched the gap, saw blood, and ran off crying. Brennan was the only
Little
one left.
Pepe.
His Beyblade was wobbling backwards trying to escape. He dropped to his knees and shoved his bare hand into the ring to block Ragnarok. Too late. Ragnarok smashed through into his Beyblade and it exploded, a shard of plastic slicing his palm open. He yanked his hand back, screaming. The top half of his Beyblade flew up and landed dead center in the bird poop on the picnic table. Ragnarok kept spinning alone in the middle of the ring. The whole playground exploded.
Hey,
"Marley,
that's what you get for
Marley,
doing that,
Marley."
I guess.
Brennan stumbled toward Marley, clutching his hand. Cohen shuffling behind him, still sobbing. He stopped in front of her and stared at the ground. "I'm sorry." Marley's face slowly broke into the biggest smile I'd ever seen. She raised her middle finger. "I forgive you too." Then she pointed at the picnic table. Loser licks the table. Both of them dropped to their knees and licked while the entire playground watched. Brennan slammed his Beyblade. A grandma walked into my cafe with her little oxygen waster grandson.
I already
And as soon as
saw
she
him,
opened
bro.
her mouth to
It's
order,
funny, bro.
he snapped
You
his
should watch
grimy
it.
fingers at her. "You're taking too long, bro. Let me just do it," he yelled. Black coffee and lemonade with 2 pancakes, extra syrup at me. Then grabbed her purse from her shaking hands and threw her money down. "Keep the change. She doesn't need it." I noticed the grandma's eyes fill with tears as she told him, "I can do it myself, sweetie." But he shook his head. "Not since your stroke you can't. You're practically a vegetable now." I clenched my fists in anger but stayed silent. But then they walked to their table. He pulled her
Ya
chair
se le
out and
metió el
smiled.
cabrón.
"Let me get your chair." I thought he was being sweet, but then his smile
¡Épale!
twisted and he pulled the chair out completely without her seeing. She went to sit down and my
Todo
jaw
lo lleva
dropped in
arriba.
horror because because if she fell, she'd probably break something. I knew there was no time to warn her, so I ran and dove on all fours. She sat right on me, and I watched the little parasite's smile drop as he realized his prank had failed. The grandma grabbed her chest. "Why are you down there? Where's my chair?" And I instead explained everything. She turned to her grandson, whose face was beet red and humiliated in front of everyone. He put his hood up and muttered, "Whatever, let's just get our pancakes." But when he went to sit down, Grandma pulled out his chair. He fell butt first on the tiles, and I heard his tailbone crack. The sound echoed, and she started laughing as he sat on the floor crying. Now that's a pain in the ass. The grandma...
That's crazy, guys.
In the middle of a training session, I saw a man's eye peeking out from inside the landing mat, watching the
Oh, it's a
underage
creep,
girls.
it's a
Now I was
creep.
coaching the freshman high
It's
school
the creep.
team, and I knew if I exposed him right now, I'd forever scare them away from coming back. So instead, I decided to make him pay. I started sprinting and jumped over the bar, hitting the mat as hard as possible. The man groaned in pain, and I saw the zip on the mat moving. He was trying to get out. I told the girls to line up, and right as the gap in the mat was getting bigger, one of them jumped and crashed onto him. Again, he violently groaned and coughed. The girl looked down with a worried face. "Ugh, what was that?" I panicked because I knew I couldn't tell her, so I quickly grunted, saying it was just my stomach problems. I had every girl do the drill 5 times each, crash landing on him again and again. I stayed by the mat for every jump, and every time I saw him try to open it, I zipped it closed. He stopped grunting after 20 or so hits, and after training was done, I carried the mat out to the dumpster and called police. In the middle of a training session, I'd been driving Uber for 6 hours and was ready to call it a night when a girl threw herself into my back seat. "Please help. My friend is having a seizure and needs a ride to the hospital." She had tears streaming down her face, and her hands were shaking as she pointed me toward a side street. "She's just a few blocks that way. I'll explain everything on the way." She looked really scared, so I quickly started driving the direction she had pointed. The girl started wiping her tears with her sleeve. My roommate has epilepsy, but she hasn't had an episode in years, so I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't get her in my car alone. I asked if we should call an ambulance, and she shook her head hard. "It's faster this way, and she doesn't have insurance." She kept glancing at her phone, telling me turn after turn to take until I was in a part of the city I didn't usually drive through this late. My stomach tightened with every unfamiliar street sign, and my hands gripped the wheel harder than they needed to. Just 2 more blocks. I noticed her hands had stopped shaking, but I told myself it was just her calming down now that help was close. She had me pull into an alley behind a row of closed shops. She's just past the dumpsters. She didn't want anyone to see her like this. I killed the engine and started to get out to help carry her roommate. And that's when I saw that the girl in my rearview mirror wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling. 2 guys stepped out from behind the dumpsters and tore my door open before I could react. Nice guys like you make this so easy. They took my wallet, my phone, and my keys, while the girl stood off to the side with her arms crossed. They left me standing in that alley with nothing but the clothes on my back, and I had to walk 2 miles in the dark before my hands stopped shaking enough to knock on a stranger's door and ask to use their phone. The police never found her, the guys, or my car. I still drive for a living, but now I keep my doors locked and only pick up passengers confirmed through the Uber app. I'd been driving Uber for 6 hours and was ready.
Well, that's why you don't trust no one. Nope.
I was at summer camp, sitting in my cabin, when our counselor ran in holding an empty gummy pack and screamed, "Who ate my gummies?" We all started laughing. Felix yelled, "We ate them. Do you have another pack?" But the second he said it, our counselor started panicking. "Oh no, 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 no. Who ate them?" The whole cabin raised their hands. They were so good. The packaging was weird though. I've never seen those in the candy aisle. The counselor read the back of the pack, and her hands started shaking. She sat down and called someone, whispering into the phone. "The whole cabin ate them. What do I do?" We were all holding our stomachs now, getting worried. "Hey, what type of gummies were those?" But she didn't answer. She ran to grab the camp nurse, and when the nurse saw the empty pack, she gasped, "You had those in here." Now we were scared. Then it started hitting us. Felix's eyes went half shut and slurred. "Guys, I think it's kicking in." Someone else freaked out. "Are my eyes red? My mom's going to beat my arm." Half the cabin thought we were poisoned. The other half thought we were spaced out. The nurse slammed the door. "Nobody leaves this cabin." Then ambulances pulled up. Paramedics rushed in asking us questions, and one kid was crying so hard he was hyperventilating. Then our parents showed up angry. Felix's dad shoved in first, took one look at his loopy son, and lost it. "What did you do to my kid? Did you poison him? Drug him?" He grabbed the camp director by the collar as the counselor sobbed. Finally, the director snapped. He threw the dad's hands off him and screamed, "Relax, nobody is poisoned, nobody is spaced out goofy, they're just gonna get sleepy, okay?" Everyone looked at him confused. A parent yelled, "Then what's in it? They're melatonin gummies. They make you sleep." Everyone turned and looked at our counselor, who was still crying. She explained, "My boyfriend cheated on me with my mom, and I get nightmares every single night. It helps." The whole cabin just stared at her. Then Felix mumbled, "So, your boyfriend's your stepdad now?" The counselor pulled out a gummy, ate it, and ran out the door crying. I was at summer camps. I was swallowing my daily vitamin when it got lodged in my throat, and my airway slammed shut. I grabbed at my neck, wheezing, and waved at my girlfriend of 2 years across the kitchen to help me. But she laughed. "You're fine, bruh. Just swallow it." She'd been acting weird all week, but this was a new level. I slapped the counter, pointing at my neck with my mouth wide open. But she rolled her eyes like I was being dramatic. Why wasn't she panicking while I suffocated right in front of her? Finally, she walked over, but instead of hitting my back, she tilted my head back and shoved a glass of water at my lips. "Stop choking and just wash it down." The water flooded my throat, and the pill sank deeper. My wheezing turned into suffocating, and my vision started spotting. I needed to do something quick, so on my own, I doubled over the counter and gagged, and the pill inched up, almost free, but she yanked me upright by the collar and forced my chin up. "No, keep it down. Swallow it." It lodged worse than before, and now I couldn't make a single sound. I mouthed, "Are you trying to kill me?" And my legs buckled as she stood over me. Then she got angry. "You're pissing me off. Why won't you just swallow it?" That's when it hit me. She wasn't failing to save me. She was actually trying to kill me. So I threw myself stomach first onto the back of a chair, and the pill shot out of my mouth and skidded across the floor. I gasped because I noticed the color. My vitamins were white, but this one was baby blue. I picked it up and read the letters stamped into it. Fentanyl. My stomach dropped because choking is the only thing that saved me. But who would try to kill me? Then I looked up, and my girlfriend held out 5 more baby blue pills in her palm and a glass
No,
of
ese no
water.
estaba
"You were
afuera.
supposed to swallow it. Now swallow
Ese
these."
no estaba
My blood
afuera.
went cold. "Why are you trying to kill me, you freak?" She crossed her arms. "I saw you like another girl's post on Instagram. That's why she was being weird all week. But if she was crazy, I'd be crazier. So I liked another girl's post right in front of her, stuck my tongue out, and ran away. I was swallowing my daily vitamin. I woke up to "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley blasting outside my window at 7 a.m., and I jumped out of bed already laughing. I already knew it was my boy Foley, because he'd been Rick rolling me every Saturday for 8 years straight. It was the only time I got to see him because he was always working. But this time I grabbed my brand new boombox, because today I was finally ready to Rick roll him back. I ran down to the front door, still in my boxers, and holding the boombox over my head on full volume. But when I opened the door, I froze, because there was a kid standing there with Foley's duct-taped boombox. "Where's Foley?" He gripped the handle tighter. "He's not here. I'm Theo, his little brother. He told me I had to play this until you came out." My smile died. "Where is he?" The kid pulled a folded note from his jacket. I thought you knew." I unfolded the note with shaking hands. "By the time you're reading this, I'll be gone. I've been battling cancer for 3 years. The Saturdays pranking you were the best part of my week. Sorry I never told you, but take care of my brother for me. 8 years, I thought I was the one getting pranked. Those Saturdays were him holding on." Theo nodded at the boombox in my hand. He said, "You know what to do next." I forced back my tears, raised the boombox over my head, and pressed play. I I opened the trivia game during my flight and typed my name in as Aaron Baum, because my dad was from Thailand and Baum was my surname. But when a flight attendant walked by and saw Baum on my screen, she immediately speed walked to the pilot. I thought nothing and kept answering chemistry questions. But then the pilot's voice came on. "We're making an emergency landing. Nobody panic." I was confused until 2 crew members showed up to my seat. "Please come with us." I stood and followed them, my heart pounding. In the cockpit, the co-pilot closed the curtains and calmly said, "We know you have a bomb on this plane." I immediately shook my head, but a flight attendant was already zip-tying my wrists so tight my fingers tingled. She pulled a tablet with the trivia game I'd been playing. "You put your username as Aaron Baum. We know you're making a discreet bomb threat." I almost laughed, explaining Aaron Baum was just my name, but the co-pilot was already calling Bomb Squad and FBI through his radio. "The best thing you can do right now is admit you're guilty. You're already getting 25 years minimum." Then a passenger pulled open our curtain. "I'm flying to my daughter's heart surgery. She could die and I might not be there to hold her hand. Do we really need to emergency land?" He was sweating, but the pilot held up his hand. "I'm sorry about your daughter, but this is more serious." A flight attendant escorted him to his seat without another word. We continued descending, and they kept asking if the bomb was on a timer and how I snuck it past security. I begged to show them my passport, but they never let me. When we made our emergency landing, 2 FBI officers rushed into the cockpit with a bomb squad holding my bag. They carefully unzipped it. "Where's the bomb?" They tossed all my things to the floor, and I again said, "I don't have one. Aaron Baum is my name." That's when the bomb squad member squinted. He opened my passport passport. Says here Aaron Baum is just his name. The whole crew went silent as they looked at my passport. Aaron Baum. The flight attendant turned to me. We're sorry, Mr. Baum. We can offer you a $15 meal voucher for the misunderstanding. I opened the trivia game. I was sitting on the kitchen floor eating my mom's candy, but when I turned the jar around and read the label, my entire face went pale. No way, I don't want this. My chin started trembling, so I ripped the label into 100 pieces. Then I threw the jar across the kitchen and started crying as loud as I could. My mom walked in with her coffee and froze. I cried out, "Mommy, I ate your favorite candy, the ones you eat every night." Her mug shattered on the tiles, and she screamed, "Wait, what did you eat?" My dad sprinted in and grabbed his head with both hands. "What did he eat? Some pills? I don't know. We don't even have any pills in the house." Mom put 911 on speaker, and they kept asking the same question. "Ma'am, what exactly did he swallow?" Mom snatched the jar off the floor, but the label was gone, and I was crying too hard to answer. So I started announcing my symptoms. "Mommy, Daddy, my tummy feels warm." Dad's face went white. "My legs feel funny." Dad sat down on the floor. Mom yelled into the phone, "Please hurry and get here." 2 officers barged in like it was a hostage situation. "What pills did he eat?" My parents shook their heads since no one knew the answer. But one of the officers looked at the shredded label on the floor and smiled. "I know what to do." She gathered every piece, laid them out on the counter, and started sliding them together like a jigsaw puzzle. My dad just whispered, "Please let my son be all right." Ambulance lights started flashing through the window. That's when the last scrap slid into place, and the officer read it out flat. "Get pregnant within seconds. Guaranteed." The kitchen went dead silent. Mom blinked her eyes. "Wait, those are my fertility pills." Everyone slowly turned to me at once. "That's Mommy's favorite candy, the one she takes every night before playing on the bed with Daddy." I looked down at my belly and asked the very thing that had been making me cry. "When do I give birth?" I was sitting on the kitchen floor. I had just set a package down on the porch of this mansion when a dog the size of a grown man came off the steps and knocked me flat. I hit the concrete so hard the wind went right out of me, and I couldn't even yell. Then his teeth sank into my leg, and the yell came out all on its own. I'm on the ground kicking at him, trying to get him away, when the front door swings open, and a woman comes running out in her bathrobe. "No, get away from my baby." I thought I was saved, but she ran right past me and got down on her knees next to the dog with tears running down her face. "Why did you attack my dog, you
Todas las
maniac?" I
temporadas
opened
yo
my
me acuerdo
mouth,
que he
but
jugado
nothing
son en
came out.
primera.
She immediately pulled out her phone and dialed 911
La
while I
alcanzó.
watched in
La
shock.
alcanzó.
A crazy Amazon driver just attacked me and hurt my innocent dog. Then she leaned down close and whispered while
Sí,
smiling
qué buena
from ear to
cinta.
ear, "This is going to make me rich." Then the cop car pulled up, so I started to stand up because finally somebody was here to fix this. He got out, looked at the big house, looked at the woman cradling
los han
her
traído.
dog, and decided I was the criminal. I desperately tried to argue my case. "You've got it wrong. I was the one who got attacked." For a second, his eyes dropped to my torn pants, and I thought he finally saw it. But the woman yelled, "This maniac came at my dog first, and my lawyer is already writing up the claim. So you're gonna want to get this right, officer." The cop nodded and reached for his cuffs. "You're under arrest, buddy." My heart started pounding. One false report on my record, and I'd lose the only job I had. I tried to tell him what actually happened, but he talked right over me like I wasn't even there. "Unless you got something that says differently, you're going straight to jail. Do you have a witness or a camera recording?" I almost said no. Then I remembered the camera on my vest. I clipped one on every shift because customers lie about what happens at their
Es
door,
que
and it had been running
No es
since I
que sea
clocked in
buen
that
morro,
morning.
todos
My
los
hands were
partidos
shaking with
fueron.
fear, but I got it off and held the screen up so he could see
Como
the
los
dog coming
últimos
off
dos
the
partidos
porch,
fueron
me
los
with
que
my arms
jugaron.
full and not touching
Y eso
anything but the
porque yo
box.
y el
Then
Cuba
her
nos
own
pusimos
voice off to the side,
unas que
clear as anything. "This is going to make me rich." She started shaking her head and
Pero de ahí
opened her
por eso
mouth, but
chingaron.
nothing came out. The
Casi
cop
nadie
looked
se
from the
completa entre
screen to
semana
her,
y
and the
ellos
cuffs
entre
he'd pulled
semana
for me
juegan.
went on her instead. "You're gonna want to call that lawyer." She wanted a check from Amazon, but the only one who got a fat check was me, thanks to her and her dog. I had just set a
Tremendo.
package down.
That's crazy. I'm gonna have to log off. No.
When AT&T handed me, I couldn't believe my eyes. When I went to grab a towel from the closet, instead of finding fresh linens, I found a full-grown circus clown tied up and gagged. This didn't make any sense. His face was painted exactly like the clown who was outside at this very moment performing for my birthday. I pulled the gag down from his mouth. He shouted at me, "You have to untie me right now. Everyone at your birthday party is in danger of being killed." I didn't know what to make of this situation, but I grabbed a pair of scissors from a side table by the door and cut his restraints. "Come on," he said. "We don't have much time." As we were running for the back door, the clown tried his best to bring me up to speed. His brother had just escaped from a mental hospital after he killed their mom. He found me here as I was getting ready for this gig. He knocked me out and stuffed me in that closet. "Your friends are in real danger." When we got to the backyard, the killer clown had my sister in a box and announced, "For my next trick, I will saw this little girl in half." The crowd looked on with amazement, thinking it was only a trick. "Stop right now. I know who you really are, clown. You're not hurting anyone." The killer clown leapt forward to attack me with the saw. Just then, his brother, with all the skill of a real professional clown, whipped a pie at the impersonator's face, leaving an imprint in the pie tin on impact. Once he was down, I grabbed the bat from next to the piñata and gave each of his legs a hard whack. "You're not going anywhere." The real clown made handcuffs out of a balloon animal and
I'm sorry guys, but that was crazy. What if you just cut off his legs so he can't run?
restrained the killer. The impersonator was sent back to the asylum, and the real birthday clown got a 5-star review. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Guys, after these 4 more plays, don't forget to like and subscribe.
I shut my parents' bedroom door and army crawled back to my room, ready to beat my Fortnite kill record.
An army crawl? Okay, bro. This is already going out great.
While it loaded, I'd switch out the keyboard for the silent one under my bed and put cushions in front of the monitor fans so it didn't make any sound and I wouldn't get caught. When I finally got into the game, I'd pump my fist and whisper, "Mission complete," because I had to beat my kill record. But I knew if I got caught, my parents would ship my to military school. But one night, I just slayed my
Military school was crazy.
opponent when I got third-partied by the enemy squad. My blood was boiling and I slammed both fists on the desk. "You stupid... You can't even do anything right. This stupid game." I instantly...
Okay. Why you gotta cuss that much, bro? Calm down, bro.
It's just Fortnite,
covered
buddy.
my mouth, realizing I'd just given myself away. The
Yeah, no, duh.
door slammed open, and my mom snatched the PC off my desk. My dad pointed at the corner of the room. "Bed, now." I rushed to bed and hid under the covers, embarrassed that I let myself get...
There's no way. If your parents didn't hear that, they're deaf.
Ya lo
But as
mataron.
soon as I heard them snoring again, I snuck downstairs to Dad's office computer, the one nobody touched but him, because I still needed to beat my kill record. I went on Epic Games to download Fortnite, but he was too low on storage for it to work. So I dragged the biggest folder, work files, into the recycle bin. A pop-up immediately came up. "Are you sure you want to delete this file? It's marked as extremely important." I clicked yes without thinking, but then another 5 came up. "Are you sure?" I clicked yes on all of them, and downloaded the game without a second thought. I played for hours, but I still wasn't getting close to my kill record. But then the sun started rising. Upstairs, I could hear my parents getting ready for work. I right-clicked to restore my dad's files, but it wasn't coming up. Beads of sweat poured down my forehead as post-gaming clarity hit me. Did I just delete my dad's work files? I clicked every folder, desperately searching for a way to undo it, and I clicked Invoices 2019. But when I saw what was inside, my heart dropped. Rocket League, Elden Ring, Minecraft, last played at 1:52 a.m. I gasped, because this meant my dad was a late-night gamer in secret too. The door opened behind me, and Dad stood there dressed for work, reading both our secrets off one screen. I started hyperventilating. "Dad, I think I deleted all your work files." He plugged a drive I'd never seen into the tower, and had every file I deleted back in 3 clicks. My eyes widened with shock, but he just shrugged. A man with a secret keeps backups. We locked eyes, and he said, "Every night you wait for us to fall asleep until you game. I just wait for your
I'm
mom."
sorry,
That
I
night
gotta
was in
go.
bed by 9.